Om Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Prashantaye Yasyatma Bhutasya Guru Prasadat Aham Vimuktosmi Sharira Bhandat Sarvopateshtu Purushottamasya Tasyangre Padma Pranatosmi Nityam Prahlada Narada Parasara Pundarika Vyasam Rishasuka Saunaka Bhishma Dhalvyan Rukmanga Udhava Vibhishna Palgunathin Punyanimam Parama Bhagavatam Namami Janmadi Asya Yato Anvya Idradasya Abhignya Swarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Havaye Mukhyanti Yaha Suraya Tejo Varimrita Meta Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Amrisa Dhamna Svena Nasada Nirasakoham Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharma Prochita Kaitava Atra Paramo Nismar Saranam Satam Vedyam Vasam Atra Vastu Sivatan Tapatrayo Unmoolanam Srimad Bhagavate Maha Munikrit Kimva Parairishwaraha Sadyo Hridi Avarudyate Atra Kritibihi Sushrusabi Takshanat Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Palamukam Sugamka Tramatam Dravid Samyuktam Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Palam Sukamukat Amritam Dhruva Samyuktam Vipata Bhagavatam Rasamalaya Muraho Rasika Vibhaka Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudirayet Vasudeve Bhavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayati Asu Vairahyam Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam Vasudeve Para Veda Vasudeva Para Makaha Vasudeva Para Yoga Vasudeva Para Kriyaha Vasudeva Para Jnanam Vasudeva Parantama Vasudeva Paro Dharma Vasudeva Para Gati Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhavata Sevaya Bhavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranama Dukkha Samanam Tam Namami Harim Param Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Paroti Vachalam Pangum Namudayate Kripatam Sri Guru Dinakanu Paramanandam Madhavam Hare Krishna. So, what we have seen so far, a quick recap. Starting from Brahma, is son, Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu had two children, Uttanapada and Priyavrata. So far, until the canto 4, what has been explained and narrated is the Uttanapada lineage. Uttanapada had a son, Dhruva. Dhruva had many children, many kings after that followed by Dhruva. One of the such king was King Anga. Anga had a son, Vena. And after Vena, we saw Prithu, King Prithu. King Prithu's story. And then after King Prithu, there are many kings who were descended. They were ruling. And one of such king in the lineage of King Prithu was Barhishat. King Barhishat. And King Barhishat was appreciated for his karma kanda activities, but not appreciated for his spiritual progress. Therefore, we saw Narada Muni came and narrated him a story of a king called Puranjana. an allegory in other sense. And in this way, Parikshit understood the message that was conveyed to him through this beautiful story of King Puranjana. And immediately he took up that to his heart. He gave the responsibility to his children and went to the forest and fully dedicating himself in the Lord, meditating on the Lord. He returned back successfully. We learned the story that the message that we learned from the previous sessions is we should understand the life is temporary and the happenings of pleasures and pains are temporary. The family members are temporary. The name that we get, the fame that we get, the prestige, the positions, everything is temporary. In fact, we all know the body itself is temporary. So what are we working for if everything is temporary? So we should be working towards Atma. Atma is permanent. And permanent is Paramatma. Atma and Paramatma is permanent, whereas everything else that you can think of in this world is all temporary. It's perishable. It's all going to go away one point of time. So that which doesn't perish is Atma and Paramatma. So as long as we live in this body, in this world, in whatever condition we have to try to establish that relationship between Atma and Paramatma. So one has to come to this understanding, and this understanding does not happen by itself unless and until we are very fortunate. But in most of the cases, this understanding comes through a guru in our life. So God sends a guru, seeing our sincerity, and the guru opens our eyes and pulls us out from the darkness into the light. And the light is shed through the knowledge. Guru gives the knowledge and connects us back to the forgotten Father, the Paramatma, Krishna. So this is what we understood from the previous story of Puranjana, Abhijnata, Puranjani, and so forth. And Malaya Dwaja, who represented the role of a guru. We learn those things. As we learn these stories, it shouldn't become a story that we hear every day and forget it. Rather, we should meditate on the stories and see how this is applicable, how I can apply in my life. So that is a key point. So one point is learning, another point is application part, as much as we could. Now that having heard the lineage of Uttanapada, now King Parikshit, please understand the whole Bhagavatam is told to King Parikshit by Shukadeva Goswami. We should not forget that part. As we are going deeper and deeper and deeper into Bhagavatam, we should not forget and try to say, connect that I thought it's Valmiki was speaking and where did Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit come? It will be very disaster if we start losing out the starting point. So King Parikshit was feeling that something has not been complete in the message of Shukadeva Goswami. Something was missed. So we can see how attentively Parikshit Maharaj was hearing the stories. He was not thinking it is just story, who really cares? No. He understood the importance of the story. Someone is giving their time. Right? Shukadeva is giving his time to Parikshit. Therefore, Parikshit was attentively hearing, appreciating, showing his gratitude is how attentive are we in hearing and capturing the message. Next comes whether we are applying it or not. First thing is, are we hearing attentively to the message, or are we getting distracted and we are not focusing on what is being spoken in Bhagavatam? Therefore, we can see here that Parikshit Maharaj was fully attentive. Therefore, he felt and wanting to know something which is not seem to be complete. That is, Uttanapada's lineage, the parampara, has been explained very well so far. But then Swayambhuva Manu, beside Uttanapada, he had another son. His name was Priyavrata. And when we learned in the past, we saw how Uttanapada took over and started ruling the kingdom, whereas Priyavrata he didn't pay much interest on getting into the administrative, family affairs, and etc. etc. Therefore, he decided to renounce everything and dedicate himself fully into a God, in the process of understanding God. Therefore, that was a thing that Parishit was thinking, what happened to him? Did he complete? Or what happened to him? That was not explained to him. So that is where King Parishit was having a question, and Shukadeva Goswami is also going to narrate now we are moving from Uttanapada to Priyavrata. Please understand, from Brahma, Swayambhuva Manu had two sons, besides daughters, two sons. One is Uttanapada, one is Priyavrata. Uttanapada, Dhruva Charitra, and Prithu Charitra, and saw all those things so far. Covers the entire Canto 4. And Canto 5 is going to talk about the Priyavrata and his parampara, the down descendants. That's what is going to be spoken here. But before we get into the story of Priyavrata, there are something need to be completed in Canto 4, is what happened to the children of Prachina Barhi. Prachina Barhi, we know the king who heard the story from Narada about Puranjana, that particular king. What happened to his children? Prachetas. The Prachetas, under the Prachetas, under the instruction of their father, Prachina Barhi, they went under a deep austerity into the water, into the sea. They met Lord Shiva, and they got the instruction from Lord Shiva, and they got the instruction of how to meditate, what are the prayers needs to be done. They learned everything from Lord Shiva, and they went into the ocean, in the river, and into the sea, and they were meditating for some period. The only reason they went into this one because their father told them to take up the responsibility of family and continue the lineage. Under this instruction, the children went into austerity for some period of time. That period is 10,000 years. They did 10,000 years of severe austerity, Prachetas. And the Lord was pleased by their austerity. And Vishnu, the Lord himself, directly appeared in front of these boys, 10 boys. Well, something for us to understand here is we do some little bit of austerity or puja, vrata, anything for that matter. And then we immediately start thinking about where is the result. I've been chanting 16 rounds for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I've been following certain things. I've been doing charity. I'm doing all sort of whatever it may be. And I'm following Ekadeshi, Nirjal Ekadeshi. Today is Ekadeshi. So we have to remember today is supposed to be a fasting day for all of us. As much as possible, we have to fast today. And as much as we are following the Ekadeshi, it is also important that we follow the Dwadeshi. Dwadeshi is where you have to break the fast. Well, one might tell, what in case if I haven't fasted on Ekadeshi, should I follow the Dwadeshi? So the answer is still yes. Whether you fasted on Ekadeshi or not, irrespective of you fasted or not, Dwadeshi, on a Dwadeshi day, one has to offer to the Lord. And at the given time, one has to do parayana, means one has to offer the Lord, and then one has to accept the remnants, the prasadam on that particular time. It is very important to follow Dwadeshi. So my thing is, one has to certainly do Ekadeshi, and it is recommended, highly recommended. I'm afraid to say, if not, do this one, because people always try to take up the second part of if not, rather than applying this one. But I just want to emphasize that as much as Ekadeshi is important, equally important is Dwadeshi, to break the fast on the right time. Even if you haven't fasted, still it is recommended one offer the prasadam and take the prasadam on that particular time. So it's equally important. Now let's coming back to our discussion here, the point here. Even Ravana is a fast, he did austerity, of course he fasted, for 10,000 years. Hiranyakashipu, 1,000 years. And these are all Asuras and Rakshasas. They also had such a strong faith. Without faith, they wouldn't have done austerity for thousands and thousands of years. But think about us. We are in the name of doing bhakti. We are in the name of calling ourselves as devotee. How much are we doing austerity? And within doing this austerity, we also try to expect the result that I want it immediately. I want to see God right away, or I want to see something out of it. Well, consider Ravana and Hiranyakashipu, how much they went through. Or for that matter, think about Prachetas, 10,000 years. And this 10,000 years of their austerity, not even for attaining moksha, to be frank. It's not even for attaining moksha. It is just because their father told them to get ready to run the administration and follow the family. Even to do that one has to go through a severe austerity. Therefore, these children understanding, they did it. So without austerity, the point is, without austerity in life, one cannot succeed, whether it is spiritually or whether it's materially. It is good for oneself to take up some austerity on a volunteer basis rather than being forced by the nature. Right? Nature. What we are all going through now. When these things are followed before, don't touch someone, don't do this one. People are complaining, saying that it's too fanatic. You're being too religious, too fanatic. But then that is what the whole world is following now. And we don't call that as fanaticism anymore. It becomes part of our religious practices in one sense, to behave in the way certain things, to not go out of the house after some period of time, right? In some part of the world, as India, they have certain times where the business is open. After some time, you cannot go out of the house. And this is exactly what the olden age people used to do. Before sunset, one have to eat. And after sunset, within certain period, one has to go to bed. In the morning, before sunrise, get up. All this some Vedic style, Vedic system. And people are following that now out of fear. What's going to happen? People are following it, doing exercise, doing yogas. There are many yoga sessions are going on right now in the world. Before that, no one were interested. Now everyone is interested in yoga. Everyone is interested in turn towards a spirituality to some extent. So the best thing is that rather than being forced by the nature or by God, what is appreciated is we take up this austerity ourselves and practice this. When the Lord saw that these boys, Prachetas, were sincere in their practices, the Lord himself appeared in front of them. And the way that he appeared is beautifully said, that he appeared sitting on the shoulder of Garuda. Suparna skandam arudho meru shringam vivambudaha pita vasa manigrivaha kurvan vitimira dishaha. So it has been explained nicely where the Lord came on the Garuda, seated on the Garuda, who was wearing a beautiful yellow garments, yellow dhoti. That's what he wears. And then the nice Kaustubha mani that we can see, Vaijayanti mala, and the nice kiritam and beautiful smile with his lotus-like eyes. And he just appeared right there on the spot, smiling very sweetly, very nicely, decorated very nicely with golden ornaments and everything. So as he appeared in front of him, these boys, Prachetas, they saw and they were very, very happy. They were very happy to see the Lord. And the Lord, in fact, spoke this wonderful thing. He said, Varam Vrenidam Bhadrambo Yuyame Nrupa Nandanaha. And also he said, Tushto Aham Surdhena Vaha. He said that I'm very, very pleased, much very pleased. Why you're pleased? Because the cooperation and the friendly relationship between you both. So this is very important point that we have to take. What pleases God? Just think about it. What does God want from all of us? Of course, we can say that bhakti, love for God, etc., right? That's what we usually think about. But here God expresses that what is really pleasing me is a cooperation between you all, among people. In Bhagavad Gita also there's a cooperation has been expressed. In the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where it says cooperation between men and Manushya and Devatas. There's a cooperation should happen between people. As long as we all work cooperatively, one helping each other and adjusting with each other and not getting carried away by the difference of opinions that we have and spoil the relationship that we have, that's not what God is looking for. What pleases is, are we working together within the family, within the community, within the state, within the country? Are we all working together friendly with good relationship? If you're not having a good relationship among ourselves, then what is the guarantee? What is the possibility that we are going to have relationship with God? Well, if someone doesn't want to have a relationship, that's altogether different. We're not talking about that. But we try not to establish the relationship, not to work on patching up or broken relationship. We have to make some attempt in certain things. If not, then there's a serious issue. Then love of Godhead is also not going to happen. So Lord is pleased here, over here. As soon as Krishna said this to Prachetas, the Prachetas started speaking, offering their prayers. They beautifully said many, many prayers, each and every slokas. In our ISKCON temple, the way that Bhagavatam is read is not the way that we are going through now in our Saturday classes. In our temple, one sloka per one class, and they speak for 45. Some speakers speak for 1.5 hours, and some speakers also go into multiple days. So because these each and every slokas are loaded with such nectarian message, can be spent many hours deep into it. Neither I have the knowledge or that much realization or taste, nor we may have the audience to accept to go into such a detailed version of enjoying these slokas in detail. But there are options available if anyone is interested to go into the details of each and every sloka. I just want to say that here. This is also another way of reading Bhagavatam. And there's another way of reading Bhagavatam is only in 7 days, Saptaha. In 7 days, completely finish the Bhagavatam. Of course, it cannot be achieved. Even in Saptaha, one does not complete all those things. They just pick and choose main stories, and everything is main. Of course, certain important things to convey the message, Saptaha. So over here also, these prayers are so very beautiful. Prachetas offering to the Lord, Supreme Lord. They say that how, now that the Lord said, I'm very pleased, now you may ask a benediction. What are the benediction that you want? You may ask, and I'll happily fulfill your benediction. That's what the Lord says. Now, the response to this, the Pracheta says, now you see these bees, the bees when it approaches a flower or a tree, parijata, a parijata tree or flower, these bees, after going to the parijata, are they going to go somewhere else? Going to any other flowers, any other trees? No, they are again going to come back to the same tree because they got the taste of this tree. They got the taste of this flower. Once you got this taste of this one, why even someone will go to something else which is cheaper? Will never go to anything cheaper. And this is the example that the Prachetas are giving, that when we have approached your lotus feet, my dear Lord, Tvam angre moolam asadhya sakshat kim vrinimahi. They said that after we have been approached your lotus feet, which is like a parijata flower, we are like a bees. How can even we can think of asking any benediction from you, my dear Lord? So how beautifully these things are said here. How can even think of asking anything else? We have achieved the best of best that you can think of. Right? And what else can I think other than this? I got the best, right? What, for example, I can only think of certain material example, but you just have tasted this, say, I've given this example. I very well remember I've given this example in the past. So please tolerate me if this is the same example you're hearing. Hopefully you've forgotten this example and easy for me to tell the same example again. Examples can be, these examples, material example can be forgotten, but never to forget the main message of Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. That is important. So you just consider if you've been given a sweet, and a sweet means obviously sweet will have sugar. There is no sweet without the sugar, right? Therefore, after tasting a sweet, whether it's rasgulla or rasmalai or gulab jamun or what sweet rice, whatever it may be, after we tasted this one, we are not going to go back to individual ingredients. I want to take the milk powder separately. I want to taste the sugar separately. I want to taste the saffron separately. I want to taste the badam separately. We don't do this business. No intelligent person will do this one. After tasting the entirety of the sweet, no one will go back. Like that here, after being tasted the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, who is going to go and ask something other than this? What benefit are we going to get? Right? Rupam, it is said that over there, the prayers are continuing that Rupam Bhagavata Pe Etad Asesha Klesha Sankshayam Avikritam Ha Kleshtanam Kim Anyat Anukampitam Kim Anyat Anukampitam. What else can be more favorable than you, my Lord, who can help us to remove the klesha? Klesha means all the unwanted things, the covering, the ignorance. We are covered by all this ignorance, right? Those are called material existence, the klesha. Remove all those things. What else are we going to express, or what else we are going to needing from you? And especially, my dear Lord, you are situated in our heart. You are situated in your heart. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. He is situated in everyone's heart. Since you are situated in our heart, you know what is that we are looking for. You know very well what is the beneficial or best for us that you can give me. Therefore, what is the use of me asking something to you? There's no point in asking you something. There's nothing that we really need. This is all we need. Help us. If at all you're thinking that we should still ask for something, here is what we are going to ask you. Yavate mayaya yavate mayaya spritha brahmamam iha karmabihi tavat bhavat prasanganam sangasyan no bhave. No means not English no. Let's not, how we mix up the languages when we speak. That is not the high standard of speaking any languages. When we speak a languages, as much as possible, we should stick on to that particular language when we speak. If you are speaking English, It has to be pure English. If you're speaking Hindi, it has to be pure Hindi. Chalo, idhar aao, बैठ जाओ, बताइए, how are you doing? This is not the way that we speak any languages. When we are speaking Hindi, it has to be pure Hindi. When you are speaking your Telugu should be pure. When you are speaking Tamil should be pure. If you are speaking English, it has to be pure English, right? So it has become, nowadays the language has become in such a way, there's a new invention of language of mixing up all those different things. And that's not the very good thing to do. One may think, how does it really matter? It is just a communication. It really doesn't matter how we speak. As long as the other person understands, that's sufficient enough. No, that's an austerity that we have to follow. Austerity in speech means speaking a language, sticking on to that particular language is also an austerity as we speak. So I got sidetracked here, convey some message here. Hopefully we all can practice what we are speaking. Therefore, try to implement these sort of simple things in our life as we speak. It may be very useful. And we may be wondering how we have totally deviated from our culture, what we are speaking, totally into a different language altogether, invented a new language. Anyway, coming back here, Sangasyan na bhave bhave. No is not an English no, it's not. What he means here, the Pracheta saying here is, if at all you want us to ask something, what we are going to ask you is, we know that in the material, we born into this material world because of our karma, and therefore we are taking repeated birth again and again and again. One time as sons of king, another time as a son of a pauper, a beggar, one time like this, one time like that, in this planet and the different planet, different thing. But tulayama lavena pi na swargam na punarbhavam bhavat sangi sangasya martyanam kim utasisaha. What has been told here is, even a moment of association of a pure devotee cannot be compared to an heavenly planet, cannot be compared like merging into the Brahman. So therefore what we are requesting is an association of saintly people, association of a saintly person, a devotee. That's all. If at all you want to give us a benediction, let us ask for that benediction, where at any given point of time, we always stay in the association of the devotees, your personal associates, your devotees. Right? Why? Because they are the one who will purify us. They are the one, when we go in the wrong path, they will pull us back. They are the one who will chastise us when we make mistakes. They are the one who will always remind us about God. Therefore, those are the people we have to be always connected with. Therefore, let's always, please give us this option of being connected to your devotees, my dear Lord. Yatra Narayana Sakshat Bhagavan Nyasinam Gatihi Samstuyate Sat Katasu Mukta Sangi Punah. Supreme Lord Narayana, when we hear the glories of your katha, your names, hearing and chanting of your names, and that becomes the ultimate goal of one's life. That becomes, indeed, what else can be more beneficial than that? Let this Mukta Sangha Punaha. Indeed, let this recitation of Krishna Katha, the holy name of the God, constantly come again and again and again. So in one way, what we are going through now, this situation, global situation, has really opened up the big door of opportunity for all of us to hear more of Krishna Katha. We have everyday reading of Bhagavatam. Every day we have an online reading, 7 to 7:30. We are having Bhagavatam reading in the evening. And 7:30 to 8 o'clock, there's a Kirtan happens, everything online. And also on Saturday mornings, 5:30 to 7 o'clock, people get together and do japa together, chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And from 7 to 8 o'clock, there's a Bhagavatam class happens also. One can attend. And on Sundays, we have now Sunday programs online. So people cannot say, I cannot drive in the night time, I cannot come to downtown, I'm afraid to come, I cannot do this one, I'm busy. Well, if still with all this option, people are not able to make use of this opportunity, then it's just a misfortune for those people. All we can do from our side is pray for them also. So having said this one, now the Lord advised these children that, my dear children, here's the thing. You all get married. You have to get married and take over the kingdom and lead a Krishna consciousness life. Krishna consciousness life. Be an obedient son of your father. Get married to a nice girl. In fact, I will recommend you a girl and you can get married to this girl. I recommend this girl because I know who you are. I know that the girl, who she is. Therefore, there's a compatibility between you both, and the girl will help you in your service, and you can help and take care of the girl nicely. And after this, the Lord departed, and the Prachetas were ready, and they got married, and they were leading their life nicely. The last chapter of the 4th canto is where Narada Muni comes. Narada Muni comes to Prachetas. Narada Muni comes to Prachetas. And as soon as the Narada Muni comes, he says, the Prachetas gets up and offer their pranam with great respect. And this particular personality, Narada Muni, you cannot avoid Narada Muni in Bhagavatam, in many Puranas, in fact. He keeps coming again and again and again. And his only purpose is to somehow or the other get the living entities, Datha, Na, Radha, connected to Narayana, to the Supreme Lord. That's why his name is Narada, one who gives Narayana to the living entities, the conditioned souls. So you can appreciate how much he's really working hard, Narada Muni. Therefore, here he comes. As soon as he comes here, the Prachetas, they got up and they requested Narada to give them good advices. You see, this is very interesting and important point here. Prachetas, who has been blessed by the Supreme Lord. Prachetas, who has been blessed by Lord Shiva. Prachetas, who has went through 10,000 years of austerity. Prachetas, who have known what is right and what is wrong. They know everything. Now, when they saw Narada Muni, and what they asked to Narada Muni is to kindly please give us some good advices that we can follow. What is the message from this for all of us? It's a very important message here. The message is that the good advices is not one-time advice. It has to constantly keep coming. We have to constantly hear from the right source. When the advices are given, we have to take it. And when someone is giving advices, when we start thinking, well, I already heard this one several times. All the time we come to the class, we hear the same thing. You are not the body, you are the spirit soul. All you have to do is chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. How many times? At least for the sake of some varieties, why don't you chant or do or say something differently? No, it's the same thing going to be repeated again and again and again, because advices are coming from the Shastras. Shastras are stable in what is advising. Therefore, we cannot change these things. It's going to be the same message. That's all. Therefore, when Narada Muni appeared in front of Pracheta, they did not say that, I'm getting bored to hear the same thing again. Or they didn't say that, I already know what is best in my life. I already know everything. Do you know? 10,000 years of austerity. I know better than anyone else. We studied all those things. They didn't speak or they didn't have any of this ego. Rather, they were again wanting to hear from Narada Muni. As they were asking Narada Muni, requesting Narada Muni, and Narada Muni started instructing to the Prachetas. Even another point is that Narada Muni was not saying that, Arre, Bapre, how many times I have to tell you this, the same thing? You come back again, ask the same question. right? He didn't get frustrated. He didn't get upset. He didn't get angry. He did not say, what I told you, forgot already? Well, you're not fit for it then. Just get out of here. He didn't say any of this thing. Because the people are interested to hear, Narada Muni was not tired of repeating how many ever times it's needed. That's Narada Muni. Okay? Therefore, Narada Muni said that Yata Taror Mula Nischanena Tripyanti Tat Kshanda Bhuja Pakshasaha Pasakaha. He said that as you all, he said, it gives an example here in this particular situation. He gives an example. Example is, say you have a beautiful tree or a plant. Let's take a plant. The plant has a trunk, it has branches, it has twigs, it has flowers, it has leaves, it has some fruits in it, everything. But then if you want to nourish this plant, what you have to do? The answer is pour water. Well, we all know we have to pour water. Now the question is, where to pour the water? What a stupid question is this one, right? Very obvious. Where do we pour the water? Water has to be poured in the root. Not on each and every leaves and branches and twigs and flowers and fruits and etc. We don't do that one. Rather, we pour the water into the root. What happens when you pour the water into the root? The root absorbs the water. What it does, it supplies the water to the trunks, branch, twigs, leaves, flowers, and fruits, every single thing. All the parts of the plant, the tree. Likewise, Narada Muni says, if you satisfy Krishna, you satisfy everyone. Something for us all to meditate on this particular point. What we are trying to do, the people generally trying to do, is satisfy each and every one. And what happens? Are we satisfying everyone? Answer is no. Nothing. Rather, we get frustrated. We try to satisfy our father, we try to satisfy our husband, we try to satisfy our brother, our sister, our children, our employer, our government. And no one is getting satisfied. It's very hard to satisfy everyone. Therefore, the solution is you're going to get frustrated by doing this one. Therefore, the idea is satisfy the root. When you satisfy the root, that is Krishna as the root. When Krishna is satisfied, he makes everyone happy. What's happening in the world right now is God has been removed totally. The root has been removed. We are not supplying what is needed, what need to be done to the plant. Rather, what we are trying to satisfy is our own senses, our own family members, our own, boss, everyone. What happened? And finally, what happened is what we are facing right now. That's what we are facing. But rather, if we all work together to satisfy the Supreme Lord, Krishna, then the outcome is going to be wonderful. There's no problem at all. We don't need to go through any of this thing. Something for us all to meditate at this given point. Why people are going through all these things? Because they fail to satisfy the Lord. The satisfaction that God is requesting is working together cooperatively in service of God. If that is not going to happen, the problem is going to continue all the time. This is not what we are going through. What we are going through now is just a sample. A lot more to come. If we read Bhagavatam, if we read other Puranas, there's a lot more to come. We don't need to get afraid of the current situation. This is just not even a sample, something less than a sample. Simple thing. More to come. If whoever has intelligence to make use of the situation and understand from the sample, that God-given sample, to make our life serious, then they can escape to face the more serious things that's coming later down the line in Kali Yuga. Therefore, my dear Lord, Narada Muni is further explaining to these people, you should therefore cultivate bhakti in the way as you are in this world. Dayaya sarvabhuteshu tantustya yena kenaiva sarvendriya upasantaya santaya tushyati asu janardanaha. By satisfying Janardana. How do you satisfy Janardana? By following his instructions. By satisfying his indriyas, not your indriya. You will be perfected in this very life. After saying this one, Narada Muni departed to Brahmaloka and everything was done. Now Prachetas were continuing with their business in Krishna consciousness. After being said this one, now Sukadeva Goswami gets into we are entering into the 5th canto. What we covered and completed so far is the 4th canto in nutshell. That's all I could say. And all this, the classes are for us to trigger some interest, so we all, or you all can go back and read further in detail all the stories, all the slokas, in fact. And this Bhagavatam book is available online. You can go to vedabase.io and you can find Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and many other nice books that you can spend and read time. Now let's enter into the 5th canto. In the 5th canto, Shukadeva Goswami continues saying that, my dear king, actually Parishit Maharaj asked the question here. He asked the question that to Shukadeva Goswami, my dear sage, now what happened to Priyavrata? So Sukadeva Goswami is going to, he said that, let me explain to you the second son of Swayambhuva Manu. Now that we finished with Uttanapada, let's move on to the second one. Who's the second one? Priyavrata. I'm going to tell you the story on the Priyavrata. Okay. So just for us to understand what does the 5th canto of Bhagavatam contain. Majority of this chapters in this particular 5th canto going to talk about various planetary systems. The heavenly planet, the hellish planet, and many planetary configuration, and all the stars and different things. And especially those who are very much interested in astronomy, galaxies and planets and etc. Those who are interested about all these planets, sky, how these things moves around, etc. For them, this canto would be the appropriate canto for them to refer. But just a note, we are not going to go into details of these things. We'll go to touch the surface of all those things and move on with these cantos, these chapters. But if anyone is interested, there are videos available on this particular canto that you can find in YouTube's, how the Vedic cosmology. You can just search Vedic cosmology. You can find within ISKCON, there are many scholars have researched, they have PhDs. They have done a lot of research on what this Vedic cosmology is. And there are videos available that you may be interested to, or it's nice to watch those videos and learn about the Vedic cosmology versus the cosmology that's been taught and understood on the material standard in an education, the material education. So that's what the content of this canto. Besides this canto also covers a very important story which is going to come about the Jada story, King Bharata, not the Bharata that I mentioned in Ramayana. There's a different Bharata who comes in the lineage of Priyavrata. We'll see as we go into the details of this one. So Raja Uvacha, Priyavrato Bhahavata Atma Ramaha Katam Mune Grihe Aramata Yen Mulaha Karma Bandaha Parabhavaha Parabhavaha Parabhavaha. And now King Parashut is asking a beautiful question, very important question. Many people ask this question also. And that the question is, now, why did King Priyavrata, who was great, self-realized devotee of the Lord, right, who initially quit taking up the responsibility of being a king, but went away from this responsibility, then why did he return back? Why did he become a grahastha? Why did he take up a household life? Because household life, meaning it the root cause of bondage of karma. It deepens one into karma. You have to get married. Married means you have to take care of your wife. Wife should take care of her husband. They have to get a children. Children means maintaining the children, putting them into the schools, and then saving money for them, saving for yourself. While in the process of making money and saving money, you may cheat others. You may tell lies, and you might do harm many living entities because you have to drive your car. You have to wear some nice dresses and do a shaving. By doing all this thing, you're killing millions and trillions and zillions of living entities, right? And you commit mistakes. Why we have to go through all those things? A person like Priyavrata, who has realized why he have to go through a grahastha life to do all these things. The family life is for those who have not conquered their senses, who cannot renounce, who cannot be detached, who are attached. Therefore, family life is for those people. Why did Priyavrata get into this one? Right? Does any one of you have this question in your life? The best thing is to, why even I got married? My God. Now that I have to, on top of my job, I have to wash pots. Right? Someone just forwarded me this. This is nothing to do with Bhagavatam. I'm sorry, but I have to share this one. With the situation that's going on globally, people are working from home, right? Many people have been working from home, and so the wife is saying, my dear husband is sleeping. The wife is saying, husband, uto, get up. The lockdown is all over now. Everything is down. Go to job. The wife is telling this one. The husband gets up. He didn't hear what he said. All he heard is, get ready for your job. That's all he heard. He didn't hear the word of lockdown is over. So he got up, and then wife came and saw, to her surprise, her husband is mopping the floor and washing the pots and doing things. And the wife is saying, "Arey, I told you to go to job." And the husband is saying, "That's what I'm doing now." So during this lockdown period, the husband totally forgot his original job. And whatever he is doing now has become his permanent job. And totally forgot please forget all this thing. This is nothing to do with Bhagavatam, nothing to do with Bhagavad Gita, nothing spiritual involved in this one. I just shared. Forgive me. Now, like this, don't we feel that getting into family life, getting into all these things, and we have to deal with the relatives, we have to satisfy my mother, I have to satisfy my wife. Oh my God. Two different entities altogether, never goes together. Why you have to do all this thing? Best thing is to don't even get married. Just be happy. Do you all really, does it all make sense to you all, or do you feel that I'm the only one going through this thing in my life? I know you're all muted, but I'm assuming you're all nodding your head, right? Assuming that you're all nodding. If you're not nodding your head, please text me separately. I want to learn a lot of things from you. How to run a family. Now this question was being asked by Parikshit Maharaj. How come Priyavrata, such a great soul, realized soul, got onto this one? And the response that we are going to see here, or the lesson that we are going to learn here, is very potent. Very important. So the main thing is that we need to understand moksha. Eventually, everyone is working towards returning back to God. That should be the goal. So returning back to God, which we call mukti or moksha, right? The moksha is not based on an ashram. Very important thing. Varna or ashram. Well, varna and ashram helps one to develop and move towards moksha. But ultimately, a brahmachari can attain moksha, a grahastha can attain moksha, a vanaprastha can attain moksha, a sannyasi can attain moksha. Anyone can attain moksha. Shudra can attain moksha, Brahmana can attain moksha, Kshatriya can attain moksha, Vaishya can attain moksha. If the person is surrendered to God. That's underlined, big font, bold. If a person is fully surrendered, Sharanagati. By the process of Sharanagati, Prapati, there is no such thing as you have to be like this to attain moksha. Moksha is an open door for anyone and everyone. Anyone and everyone. There are people who are given up family life and taken up sannyas, but constantly thinking about, their wife, their children, right? Whereas there are other people who have not given up their family. They're still staying in the family, but they've given up their enjoyment of their senses and dedicated their life of serving the Lord. Or those people who are sincerely working towards wanting to give up the sense enjoyment, working really hard. And those people, compared to those people, the other people who are given up their family but become a sannyasi but constantly thinking about their family, what do they use? What's the use? So there are two reasons behind this one. Reason one, Priyavrata, in case of, we are just studying, understanding about Priyavrata's case here, Priyavrata's case. Case one is maybe if a person, like God himself given an order to a person, now you get married, you follow the karma yoga system, or some spiritual authority is saying that get married. That could be the reason. A second reason could be a person was sincerely want to follow the dharma, go through the dharma. Why? Because if I become sannyasi, what happens is everyone will start worshipping me. I have to give service to others. They will say that your lotus feet, right? They'll start praising me. Whereas if I am a grahastha, what I do is I worship those people. That is the difference here. If I become a sannyasi, everyone will worship me. If I remain a grahastha, if I follow the grahastha ashrama, then I have to worship others. Not that others have to worship me. This is taking a humble position. So in Bhagavad Gita, there are two very important messages of the entire Bhagavad Gita. The message is very clear in Bhagavad Gita. Once we know that, if we say that we have read Bhagavad Gita, we understood Bhagavad Gita, then there are two things is very important that we should have understood. If these two things are not understood at the end of reading Bhagavad Gita, then we really did not read Bhagavad Gita. We read something else through our mind. What are the two important things that one come to a conclusion by reading Bhagavad Gita? Number one is Krishna is supreme. Krishna is supreme. The supremacy of Krishna is established in Bhagavad Gita. Attaining him is the goal. That's number one. Number one is Krishna is the supreme Lord. He is Brahman. And attaining Krishna should be the goal of the life. Number one. Number two is the only means to attain Krishna is only one path. And that path is bhakti, devotion, bhakti to Krishna. That's the only path by which one can attain Krishna. And how one can attain bhakti? By doing their karma, nishkama karma, as given by Krishna in the Varnashrama Dharma. Varnashrama Dharma. So this is a two very main important point that we should take from Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is supreme. Attaining him is the goal. Not attaining this devata, that devata, going here, going there. None of those things are the goal. As Krishna is supreme, I have to attain him. Now, how do I attain him? What is the path? What is the mean? Bhakti is the mean. Bhakti is the only mean by which, by following my dharma, of keeping Krishna in the center. Krishna has given this Varnashrama system. I follow that one. Cultivating bhakti, then I can attain my goal to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. That's Bhagavad Gita. In few seconds, if you want to say what Bhagavad Gita content, this is what Bhagavad Gita says. And this is exactly what the message in Srimad Bhagavatam also, but in a story format nicely. Just renouncing is not a complete solution at all. If a person is not fully detached, as we have seen and heard, there are many people who have renounced. Now that we see so many people, this Swamiji, that Swamiji, this sannyasi, that sannyasi, right? Sometimes we get the news that this sannyasi is married now. This sannyasi is ran away with some woman. I mean, all the different news. This sannyasi has started business. Now sannyasi has started business also in corporate, right? So many things are going on. So rather be a humble grahastha and accept your deficiencies or inability to do certain things and work towards perfecting those things. That pleases God rather than artificially giving up things. And this has been elaborately discussed in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So those who are not read Bhagavad Gita, please, high recommendation is to read chapter 3 thoroughly so we can get this message. So, but Priyavrata was a very matured and realized person. Then why he has to take up family life? Again, the answer is there in Bhagavad Gita. The answer is simply because to set an example to a common people. Not everyone can take up Jnana Yoga. Not everyone can become a sannyasi. Therefore, someone has to set up an example. What does a grahastha life means? What is an ideal family life? If everyone is, the entire world is sannyasi, then if someone is interested to get into the family life, where is an example that they can follow? So therefore, Priyavrata, Prithu Maharaj, they're all very great ideal example. Janaka Maharaj, Krishna himself, they're all best example how one can lead a life. Therefore, Priyavrata accepted. We are going to see how Priyavrata is accepting the proposal that has been given by Brahmaji. Brahma is going to give a proposal or suggestion because Brahma is going to come to meet Priyavrata and is going to tell now Priyavrata, get married. Right? So we are going to see this one. And Narada will be there in the conversation, hearing these things. And especially we'll see that Narada Muni is a brahmachari, a strong, staunch brahmachari. Right? When Brahma is going to propose, and we have seen also in Narada's stories in Bhagavatam, he's more inclined towards recruiting brahmacharis. Many times we see is recruiting brahmacharis, not get into the family life. He also advised people to get into family life. We've seen that also. But mostly inclined towards recruiting brahmacharis, all right, to make his congregation more stronger. And now Brahma is going to propose Priyavrata to get into family life. Right before Brahma came into the picture, Narada was already talking to Priyavrata, giving some instruction, talking to him and so forth. And suddenly Brahma is going to come. When Brahma comes, Narada Muni gets up, Priyavrata gets up, and all of a sudden Brahma is going to tell, well, this is a girl that you have to get married. At that point of time, Narada Muni is not saying, what? Marriage? Look at me, I'm a brahmachari. Why are you telling this person to get married? Let him be happy. rather than getting into marriage. Too much problem, too many problems, right? So he didn't say that. He approved, he accepted the message. Therefore, we'll learn more on this subject from Srimad Bhagavatam, and we'll see the activities and qualities of Priyavrata and more lessons, how he led his life in our next Saturday session. So with that, we'll stop here. What we have seen is we completed Canto 4, where Prachetas came out and then they met the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and then also they got married. Then they met with Narada Muni. Narada Muni gave them some nice advices, and that finished the 4th canto. And the 5th canto started where Sukadeva Goswami was saying that now that I told about Uttanapada, I'm going to explain to you about Priyavrata, the second son of Swayambhuva Manu. And then when he said this one, and King Parishita, how come he got into the family business? Not family business, means starting a corporate or things like that, getting into marriage, children, etc., etc. Whereas he's already a realized soul. So we'll see more on this as we go in our next session, next class, next Saturday, 10:30 Central Time. And really appreciate. I see there are many people who have joined outside St. Louis also. Hope these are helpful and you're spending your time valuable and you learn something out of this one. And I'm not wasting your time, hopefully. Thank you all very much. And any questions or comments or corrections? I also want to say, before you ask anything, I also want to say that thank you all very much for actively participating in the discussion that's happening in our WhatsApp group. It's just, I cannot imagine how many responses I'm getting. As you know, we keep on posting things. I don't really have to say what is right and what is wrong here. And many of you have shared wonderful, wonderful realization, wonderful points, which I can't even think myself. And I still have some more that I have to share. I'll be doing that one. But hopefully, please spend some time to read others' responses also and appreciate how people are thinking in different angles. So please participate in these things and also try to read these things as much as possible. Thank you. We have 5 minutes left. If there's anything need to be discussed, we can do this. Oh, by the way, you might be thinking, what is your response to those questions? If you might be thinking, you ask questions, you never responded to the question. That's all coming up in our Bhagavad Gita daily session. So it's suspense because Krishna himself is going to give answers. But then answers are already, some of you have already shared as answers. Those are answers. And some of the thing that I have is also going to answer that question very nicely. That answer that I got from others. Okay, I'll close my mouth and hear from you all. Please unmute and share your videos. And then so I can see you who are asking any questions or comments or what you learned from today's session, what you felt appreciate you all. If there is any at all, any points, please speak up so I can also see you and hear you. I see there are totally 35 members joined today. So anyone want to share some points or something from what we saw today? Even repeating what we saw is nice. You don't need to say anything new. You want me to call out names?
Hare Krishna, this is Kiran. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. Please go ahead.
I can't activate the video. I think I have to go into the settings for that. I just have a quick question. You said Prithu Maharaj is an Avesh avatar of the Lord. What does that mean? What is Avesh avatar? I think that's the word you used.
Yeah. Now, when we speak about avatars, primarily we speak about 10 avatars. Okay. These 10 avatars are, there's no difference between the Lord and these 10 avatars. But when we read Bhagavatam, we see there are many avatars are there. Therefore, the avatars are classified themselves in different categories. One of the avatars is called Avesha avatar, where the Lord empowers a soul with a certain energy or a power that he has. Not the entirety of the Lord himself, but a one thing, for example, an administrative power, how the Lord administers things, is being empowered to Prithu Maharaj, for example. And that since it's been empowered with certain power, that person is called an avatar, but the avatar is called Avesh avatar.
Avesh avatar.
A Vishesha, a certain potent of the Lord is being invested on that particular person. For that matter, Narada is also an avatar of the Lord. What is that he has? Bhakti. The bhakti is being imparted or given, invested on this personality.
So Narada can also be called an Avesh avatar?
He's also an Avesh avatar.
Okay, thank you.
But when it compares to Rama, Narasimha, there's certainly a difference because of these categories.
So that's the Lord.
Manvantra avatar. There's also Manvantra avatar, there's a Guna avatar, Leela avatar, and there are different categories of avatars are there. And we can get into those details also if you are interested. I can share that later.
Okay.
Any other questions? If there is no other questions, Ashok Prabhu, back to you.
Yes, Prabhu. It was a very good class today, Prabhu. I like that one thing which you shared. Actually, two things: the total essence of Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna is the supreme, attaining is the goal, and the second thing was the only means to attain is by bhakti or devotion. I think that's really. I like that, and then also renouncing is really not a solution if we continue to be, attached or not detached. So I think those are the few things which I liked from the whole class today. Besides so many other things which we learned, but since you wanted the essence, what was from this, I think that's the essence of Gita and the Bhagavatam, so it's really very nice. And sure. Do you want to discuss about those small group discussions which we had talked about, or should we just give it a little bit more time and put this in a little bit more prospect and then talk to everyone?
We certainly have to put some more thought, but then since you brought this up, we can just at least
take a poll.
Yeah, we can just share what we are thinking to this group, and then maybe they can also give some suggestions and ideas. You want to go ahead and tell what we are thinking?
So Lal Prabhuji had asked me to put some thoughts of organizing some smaller groups, since we are not able to meet each other. So there's really no personal connection. Otherwise, we used to really meet each other and greet each other and then talk about things and all that. And in a classroom format, when we are personally there, we are able to really do a little bit more. So what we thought, Lal Prabhuji thought, was that if we could have smaller groups of 4 or 5 people getting together on these sessions, separate sessions, where there'll be some assignments which we can discuss with each other to be more personalized. I think that's the gist of the talk we have, and we have to really put a format to it and what would be discussed. Whether it'll be from Bhagavad Gita or from Bhagavatam, or it'll be a particular sloka, because the slokas are already, well, Prabhuji is doing one sloka, or maybe one sloka in 2 days or so, depending on which sloka it is, and we can discuss on that besides writing on the WhatsApp. So I think that's the idea behind this thought. So, Prabhu, you want to say something more?
No, that's it. I think the essence of the idea behind this is so we can all be more connected and feel the connection, and then to express ourselves, our thoughts, our realization. So it's not that one person is always trying to do things, but among a small groups, we'll have this group for sure. But we also have a subgroup within the group. They can meet, they can talk, and they can finally come out with what they have and discuss as a group as a whole. Some thoughts like that to stay connected.
Yeah, so that's for the adults, and we are also trying to do this same for the children also, because Lal Prabhuji teaches Balvyar, and we are trying to really do that also, where there'll be a class on every Sunday, where the kids would be given a chance also.
Yeah. So you don't need to answer, you don't need to say anything now, but if you have any thoughts on this proposal, idea that we are thinking, please you can let us, Ashok Prabhu and myself, know any ideas or thoughts. We are already trying to work with another devotee, our friend Palash Prabhu, who is going to tell us how to do certain studies using Zoom subgroups and things like that. We are trying to learn more on how to make this group active, more participative. With that said, please think about it. And before we close it, I know we are 5 minutes away, but I see that a lot of new people are joined whom I have personally not met. We have not met personally, some of you. So at least 1 or 2 people, if you can please introduce yourself. Not everyone have to do it in this session. A couple of people every Saturday can introduce yourself, your name, where are you, how do you come to know about this program, and then did you like it, did you learn, things like that, something about yourself so we know about you. Can anyone, a brave person, step up first and speak if you haven't spoken at all before?
I think we may have to name them then.
Especially those I have not met, or we have not met you. We don't know you. So you can please share yourself if you're comfortable to share the video, or you can speak up. Or Ashok Prabhu is quite very, strict on these things. He'll just call out people. I know working with him. He will just call people and you have to really speak. Who wants to go first? Ashok Prabhu, all yours. You have to do your...
Well, I'm going to point to your sister then, Sangeeta ji. I know. Sangeeta ji, please unmute yourself. I think she's not. Okay. So, where do we go? Prabhu, it's your turn now. You go.
Hare Krishna. I think Lal Gopal Prabhuji already met me. My name is Priyanka, Priya Devidasi. So Yeah. So I'm from Rolla, and I'm at Missouri Santee. I'm studying, so every weekend it's I don't get to visit ISKCON St. Louis, but I'm taking the opportunity now to attend all the online programs, and it's really nice that St. Louis ISKCON has organized so many online programs. So today morning also I attended the morning program. It was really good, and now Lal Gopal Prabhuji has enlightened us with so many good things in this Bhagavatam lecture. So thank you. I'd like to thank Lal Gopal Prabhuji and all the ISKCON St. Louis members.
Thank you, Mataji.
I think people are just shy, so nobody wants to come forward. Nobody else. Priyanka has already done
Yeah,
that.
we see a gentleman name. I don't know if this is Greg Gazeman.
Greg has attended the classes before, but why don't we have him speak?
Oh, this is Greg. Okay.
Yes. Greg, you want to speak a few things, or just a little bit? What you've been learning?
Okay.
No, he doesn't have a microphone. So Greg just wrote to me. He does not have a microphone. He's just listening.
Okay. Brenda, how about you?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
I'm
Krishna.
just now we joined the ISKCON St. Louis program. I like every program. Lal Gopal Prabhuji sending every daily Bhagavad Gita tidbits. That's very helpful.